about just in terms of the process and the medium. So it looks different in pastel than it does here, a little bit. Like
it was a very different,
yeah. The photo, there's the photo and then there's your different renderings of that. So when you finally get to this, I'm wondering, are you working more on the visceral experience of when you very first saw this intersection and the light, and does all that come back to you when you were working on the final piece?
Yeah. I mean, the photograph reminds me, and the coloration. The pastel fell into place really nicely, and that's what gave me the confidence to try a large oil. Okay. The large oil was just a pain in the butt.
Why so?
It didn't fall into place. Things didn't work out. I gave up on it a few times, and I kept thinking, well, go back. I went back one more time, give it another shot, and finally, things started to happen in this area. They started to click, okay. And which I guess was sort of the heart of the piece. And then it started to. Then I thought, well, I can't let the painting go now because that area is working so well. Right. So it gave me the impetus to go back and give it another go again and again. So yeah, this one squeezed a little blood out of me. Yeah.
Drive home. This is a dark painting, and I know that it's Market Street. But it's Market Street in a way that I haven't experienced it before. It looks different here. Can you tell me about this?
Well, I used to drive from my studio up north back to the city to be back with my family after some sessions in my studio, and I was always coming down this route, and the city spent a fortune putting these palm trees up, which I thought was really extravagant, but it does kind of work. It's gorgeous now. Those beautiful palms lining all the way down to Castro, and so I kept telling myself, you got to paint this, and so I finally jumped in, and I mean it had the wonderful rhythms of a street, and all that all the color and stuff going on in the shadows, and so it was. It too was a struggle. Not every painting, things don't work out according to plan, and this is like the 4th or 5th big version over a period of several years, and I'm really pleased with what finally happened.
What made this one the one?
What do you mean?
This version.
Oh, well, there's a certain randomness to out of the hundreds of images that I start with. So I can't answer that other than once I start, I hope that I made the right choice, because then it's all.
This is my favorite piece. It's the neighborhood that I live in, but the real reason I like it is because it's so much simpler and quieter than a lot of Larry's cityscapes, and to me it signaled a new direction for him, and I always get kind of excited when I see an artist moving in a new way. It looked different to me. There's something about it I noticed right away, and Larry's always working towards simplification, or at least that's my interpretation of what Larry's working towards, and this piece really has it. My favorite piece or part of this painting is this little part right here. I just love this right there, that little shadow that pulls you up over the hill, and I know the ocean's on the other side.
I just love all these paintings, and I really like how it's sort of, all the paintings are fuzzy in style, but you can still totally tell where they are.
Yeah, I mean, my dad has always told me that for a very big proportion of his life, he didn't have glasses when he was a kid. So he saw everything in a whole different way than everybody else. And I think he really interprets that in his art. You can totally tell where it is, but then you still have that kind of strange alien look in it.
When anybody looks at this painting originally, they of course feel the mood of downtown San Francisco. I certainly feel it. The motion of the cars and the kind of rich darkness that's part of the downtown city streets blocked out by the high-rise buildings. But something that I think has always been exciting about Larry's work is the abstraction that's in the detail when you get close to it. For example, this area up here, there's no way that any of that could be defined as realist. It's complete abstraction. And I think it helps me, and it helps any person realize what a work of art and what the painting is in terms of taking little bits of light and little bits of experience you have with it, and how it really blends into a whole and makes something.
Hello, I'm Robert Allen. I'm the owner of the gallery here in Sausalito. And I'm so pleased to present this exhibition, Larry Morace. One of the things that's so interesting about Larry is his ability to present the world as we see it, not how we expect to see it. Everybody understands perspective and can create a flat horizon line. But Larry looks at the world as we see it, as we move through it. And that's what's so interesting about his work, that not can he only, through his training, understand what we recognize as Western perspective, but also show us how we see the world in the time frame that we move through it. One of the reasons I picked this particular piece, City Canyon, as the mailer piece for this exhibition, kind of the key piece for this exhibition, is not only its scale, but its maturity. The use of surface design, as well as the use of depth, is very well described. It's described in this way, or a building that has fingers that are sticking out in terms of the surface depth, or my love of this mystery area here at the top of the painting as we go down City Canyon. But it just shows the extent of Larry's understanding of space and the description of space and movement and his love of San Francisco.
I don't live in San Francisco, but I know immediately that this is the city. And I know that that's a Muni bus barreling through the intersection. And I love that when you really look at it, you can see the shadows of the little people sitting on the bus. And it's my favorite piece, and I think it has to do with that bus.
Yeah, definitely. The fluidity in the entire painting and the movement of that bus. I ride those every day, and it's through a neighborhood I'm very familiar with. You have the fog in the west, the light coming through. It's so Western San Francisco. It's just really captures that whole mood of the neighborhood being there, moving through it.
I can almost feel myself sort of dipping with that bus as it's coming down that little slope.
Oh, I can hear the driver.
Intersection. Can you hear the driver?
Oh, yeah.
What's the driver saying?
Well,
This is a family show, so
Yeah,
we won't
yeah.
say.
This is a favorite of mine, and it's a sentimental favorite too, because it's a scene of Brooklyn, right before you enter Manhattan using the M train, elevated line. And it's a train that Larry and Allie and I take a lot when we go to Manhattan, so we see the scene all the time. And what's so amazing to me about it is that it has such a majesty, because Larry apparently doesn't see Brooklyn the same way I do. He brings out colors and shapes and just blends it all together to make it one of the most electric and magnificent scenes I've ever witnessed of New York.
This panorama scene with pastel, I just love to do pastel drawings, which sometimes can become paintings if there's enough work and time that goes into it. And I just love the delicacy of this piece, because of the use of pastel and the nervous line, and it's so much fun for me to use that to explore an image.